Okay, welcome back, Project VF. So we've got to airbox everything off and radiators off, that sort of stuff, as you can see. Just a very quick, I'm just sort of analysing what's got to happen with this, which way forward. Yeah, leaving the frame the same here would mean obviously using the original swinging arm, etc. there. So, but ideally, if I'm going to do this, I'm really curious to actually use the VFR exhaust and use it as it comes round past the pivot point of the single-sided swinging arm. And because I think it would be better choice of tyres, probably better suspension, but also moving to my exhaust here, what we'd have is I offered these up to this engine. It won't just quite go on, but you get the drift here that the swinging arm pivot is in this area here when they're in the heads. Okay, so a bit of contemplating what we're doing. Very tight, very busy in there, the standard setup. And like the original, you can just see that part of that frame there, the original swing arm, the pivot pole doesn't. I mean, those that have got one of these bikes, no, it doesn't go all the way through because it would hit the exhaust. So we have two separate little pivot points. So what I'm contemplating has got to happen to use the VFR stuff is this section here has got to come out. So remove this quite substantial frame support here, and possibly this one, this little tube in here, to remove these. That's going to mean resighting the battery box, but I want everything else to stay the same because I want the side panels to fit. So we're obviously going to have to make little bits and pieces for the side panels to go on, but obviously we won't have any need for this big cumbersome breather box in there. The original engine just breathed out straight out of the rocker cover straight up into the airbox, so that's something that we can on this VFR. So we're going to have a bit of room in there to play with. It's going to mean a bit of remounting, so basically this one is just a bit of a heads up on me kind of thinking out loud, I suppose, on how I'm going to do stuff. So to use the VFR, he's got to come out. This section here that with the shock mounting, potentially, I think all I would do to start with is just chop it out. Just literally cut through, chop it out, get the engine in, and then see whether we can remove the back of that mounting in there and somehow utilise this for the VFR swinging arm. But I think that's the way forward. My first protocol is to get the engine in, obviously. So it's all one thing at a time, if you like, but this engine's got to come out, obviously. And just thinking on this as well, this rear engine mounting to the head, so till it's in, it's going to be difficult. I think the only datum, if that's the right word we can use, is this bottom engine mount bolt, okay, that we actually initially put in. These look very similar to be in the same place, or very similar. It'd be interesting anyway, see what actually lines up and what doesn't when. So it's going to be try and get the engine in and try and get this bottom engine mounting bolt in first, and then look at what we've got. But what I'm trying to toying with doing here is obviously I'm going to have to remake. The VF only has the one mounting point there, obviously, for this section. So there's just the one mounting point there. But if we turn back to the engine now, we've got in the same place there. Well, it's actually not the same place, but we've got one there that I used originally. We've also got one there. But going back quickly to this head, let's say it's where the head and head gasket are, in that area, okay? Okay, so the head gasket, because I can't see these blocks being that much different. So the original mounting's kind of somewhere there in the head. Sorry, no. Yes, it's in the head. Getting confused here now. Yes, it's in the head. So it's about there. So we may, if we're going to use that one, it may have to be a shorter, it may be up here just slightly, a shorter one, or if we're going to use, again, this one, where originally it's using it into the block, then we'd have to use a longer. But again, this is all because it's kind of there on this, on the new engine. That's possibly the best scenario. I want to try and keep it looking, you know, as standard as, when I say standard, single-sided swinging arm, but I want to keep the spirit of the bike, if you get what I mean. I think that's the best. So yeah, this is just a thinking out loud video. I've got a bit of it stripped. I think the next thing to do is proceed, get the exhaust off, and get the exhaust off, get the carbs off, and yeah, take off. I've got to do some measurements of rear wheel spindle height to a datum on the frame. For if stuff's coming out, we need to be able to set that something similar back to the ride height, even if it's uplifted just slightly. But I need to know where stuff was in position, that position, and to a datum somewhere on the frame to measure it. So maybe make a little bracket or something, I don't know, to hold stuff in place when we get that far. Again, as I say, thinking out loud here on what's going to happen. So it's New Year's Eve, so tonight's be probably a little bit of cherry cordial be drunk tonight. So you know, nothing more than that. Maybe the vicar will call around for a drink tonight, I don't know, you know, a bit of brandy, who knows. Yeah, we'll see. So anyway, yeah, the oil mod, what I'll do, it hasn't run for a week or two, maybe a month max since it's been running. But what I'll do, I'll pop these covers off once you get her on the bench here, and we'll just show you how effective that really is, because I bet there's still shitloads of standing oil in that head. Okay, show the cams, anyone can have a look, because obviously this is going to be for sale. Anyone can have a quick look at it then while it's out, and a peep in the engine. Obviously the carbs, like I say, they're going for sale. Won't be needing them. Yeah, it's going to be a task, but you know what, we've built sidecars from the ground up, so like I say, it's I like sort of trying to get a little bit creative, and it's something I wanted to do for a bit. So anyway, that's about it for now, I think. So what I'm going to do, proceed to get the exhaust off, all this stuff off. It's all loose anyway, but all this stuff off, get it all out of my way so I can see. And like I say, hang that engine in on that rear engine mount, swing it up, see if that lines up. If that lines up, great. If it doesn't, we'll have to alter this, because I think with this being a fixed part of the frame, there's our datums. I think if we get that bottom one in there and one mounted here, we kind of set the V where we want it to be. Now the other issue that is interesting, because I've tried to think about things that are going to happen. Right, from memory, the sprocket output shaft isn't maintained in the crankcase's split. It's lower. I do believe